In this tutorial we're going to continue to look at the presets, and I'll just click the presets button here to pick set 1, and we'll continue where we left off last time and look at the voiceover on during. Now voiceover gives you the option of pre-recording the titles of the images, which you can then play back when the images are shown. Now this can be useful for, say, a record category competition where the titles include long complicated Latin names which can very easily be mispronounced. Now ICPro does not contain any sort of sound recorder, so you need to have that facility on your machine to be able to do this. So how do we do it? Well, first we go back to the setup screen, and the first thing we need is a printed list of the titles in the order that they will be displayed. And we know how to get that. We can just click on the load button and key a V, and there's our list, and from here we can print out that list. I'll just key R to return, and I'm now going to exit that back to desktop. Now when we record these titles, there's three things we need to be aware of. First, they must be in a WAV format, one for each title. Secondly, they need to be saved with a specific file name. And thirdly, they all then need to be put into a specific folder inside ICPro. But that's not too difficult. Let's have a look at these criteria and how that happens. But first we need to record the files. And I've done it with a program I've got down here called ICPro, but you may well have something else on your machine which records sound. And I've already recorded the titles for pick set 1, and I'll put them in this folder here. So let's just have a look at that. And there they are, 9 titles. And the first criteria, as we said, that they must be recorded in the WAV format, .wav, as these all are. The second thing is to get the file name correct, and the file name should always be title in lowercase, followed by the order in which they display. And when we've recorded them all, we need to put them in a specific folder. I'll close that down, and you can see I've already put mine in this folder, which is called audio. So we have to create a new folder called audio in lowercase and put all the WAV files inside there. Now the next thing we need to do is to get this folder into the pixet folder where our images are. Well, we've already got the shortcut on here to pixet 1, so I can open that up, and there are our 9 images, and all we have to do is just copy this folder. And I can right click and copy, and right click and paste it into the pixet 1 folder, and there it is. Okay, we can now go back to the program, single screen, and we'll make sure the preset for voiceover on is switched on. Well, it's switched on for the comment section, and that'll be fine. Let's see how that now works. We'll apply that to pixet 1, and we'll start the competition for pixet 1. And we'll click C for comment. The arch. And as you probably heard there, the title was automatically read out as the image came up. I'll key the spacebar for the next image. Beached. And again. Here lies Jack. And what happens is, each time we bring up the picture, the title is automatically read out. Well, I'm just going to key R to reset now, and R again to get us back to the setup screen. Now you can always check out how the sound files work with the demo set of pictures. The demo set already has WAV files embedded into the program, and it uses the presets of pixet 1 to run them. So as long as you've switched on the voiceover in pixet 1, you can run the demo set. We'll just very quickly do that, and we'll comment beside the seaside. And you can hear the titles. Albino. Masks Surreal. The titles are being read out for the demonstration set of images. And we'll get out of that with R to reset and R again. Right, back to the presets. And now we're going to look at score mode. Now up until now we've judged and scored all the images out of 20 points. But on occasions you may wish to run a competition where you don't actually score the images but just place them, perhaps give a first, second and third, and also perhaps just a certificate or highly commended. And we can do that here by using the alternative option of place images only. Now going with the score mode, we've got another option here, allow placings. Now I've been mentioning all along placing images in first, second and third place. Now you remember when we talked about placing images, when we reached the results table, how we had to place first, second and third place before it showed up in the table. But there may be an occasion when you don't want a first, second and third, you just want a first and second, or perhaps just a winner, just a first place. But that's not going to happen too often. We're going to leave it on first, second and third right now. So let's go back, apply that to pick set 1 and go back here and run the competition for pick set 1. Remembering now that we are in a score mode of place images only. And we do J for judging. And we get our pre-post screen, spacebar to get to first picture. Now what's different here is if we actually try to score this image, and I'm going to try and give this image 18 points, and I key 1, 8, enter, which is what we've been doing all along. And as you can see, nothing happens because we're in place images only mode. Now in this mode we have to use either the P key to place an image, the C key if we want to give an image a certificate or a highly commended, or if we don't want to give a particular image anything at all, we just use the space bar to move on to the next image. So let's try this out. I'm not going to give this one anything, so I'm just going to hit the space bar. Now this one I think deserves a certificate, so I'll key C. And it asks me to confirm that with a Y for yes, N for no, so I key Y for yes. And we move to the next image. This image I'm going to place. So I'm going to place this one in first place, so I key P to place it. And it comes up with a little box in the top right hand corner saying place question mark. And it's waiting for a 1 for first place, 2 for second place or 3 for third place. So I'm going to key 1, and it asks for confirmation once again. I'll key Y for yes. Now we can still hold images back just as we did during the scoring of images. So I'm going to hold a few back. I'll hold that one back with a H key, and that one again. And we'll hold back one more, H. And this one, perhaps we'll give this one a highly commended. And remember, we do that with the C key, so I key C, and key C again, and it then says HCOM for highly commended in the top right hand corner, and Y for yes. Nothing for that one, so just a space bar, and nothing for that one, just a space bar. And it tells us that we have held back 3 images, and we can key the space bar to have a look at them. Now there's a little bit more information along the bottom of the screen now, and the extra thing here is the key D to delete image from the holdbacks. Remember, we're not scoring them here, we're just placing them. We're keying P to place, C to certificate, or now D to delete it from the holdbacks. There we go, the first image held back. It's telling us how many we've held back in the top left hand corner there. And I'm going to place this one. I'll key P to place. Now if I try and place it in first place, which has already been allocated, I'll key 1. It won't let us do that. So I'm going to give this one second place. I'll key 2 and yes to confirm. And we still got 2 images here. This one and the other one. We can see them by hitting the space bar. This one I'll give third place. I'll key P followed by 3 and yes. So we've allocated all 3 places now. And this one I'm not going to give anything to, and I'll just key D to delete it. and we get our post screen, spacebar to get the results table. And you can now see we've got a clear 1, 2, 3. We then got a highly commended and a certificated image, and then all the rest are equal sixths. And we key R to reset. Yes. And just before we leave this function, I'd just like us to look at one other thing. And I'm just going to go back into the presets here and alter this score mode back to the default score option. And apply that. It's already scored, so I'm going to clear the scores on here. Y for yes. I'm now going into a judging mode again. And remember, this is judging mode where we're actually scoring the images. I'll key J to judge. Spacebar for the first image. And we can score in the normal way. 1, 8, enter. But what you can do here is place them as well as scoring them. Now, I'm not sure that you'd want to do this too often, because you could easily end up placing an image in first place when it ends up not having the highest score. But just to show that you can do this, if we give this one 19 points and we want to give it second place, instead of keying enter to move to the next image, I'll key P to place. There we go, what we've seen before, and I'll key 2 for second place, yes, and we'll move on. And we can do the same with certificating images. If I wanted to give this 14, 1, 4, instead of keying enter to register that score, I'll key C, and I'll say yes to certificate that. But that's just to show you that you can place and you can certificate even when you're in score mode. But I must repeat, be careful when doing this, because you can end up giving a placing or a high placing to an image which has a lower score than some of the others. So we key R to reset, yes, R once again, and we'll click on the presets button to get back into there. The next two options here relate to the number of judges that we're using. And I'm going to leave this one right now because we've got a special tutorial coming up on multi-judging later on the disc. So for our last item in this tutorial, we'll take a look at show held back images as thumbnails. Now, as we've seen in the past, when we hold back images during judging, when we get to the end, we get a screen saying we've held back X number of images. And we use the space bar to move through those images and either score them or place them. Well, here we've got an alternative. And we can click yes to show held back images as thumbnails. And what will happen now is that provided that no more than 12 images are held back, they will be shown as a page of thumbnails, so the judge can get a quick idea of what he's held back. If you do set this option to yes and more than 12 images are held back, the program will just revert to the default method of showing the held back images. So let's take a look at this in action. We'll apply that to pixet 1. And we'll run pixet 1, judge, spacebar, and we'll quickly score some of these images. And we'll hold back a few. I'll hold back that one, score that one, hold back that one, hold back that one, score that one, hold one more back with a H key. That's the last one. I'll score that one. And now you can see that the images we've held back, the 4 images, they're shown as thumbnails. Now note the bit of information at the bottom of the screen here, which says key spacebar to select images and then enter to enlarge / return to thumbs. And what that means is if we hit the spacebar, you'll see that Here Lies Jack now has a little green marker in the bottom right hand corner. Hit the spacebar again and the marker moves on to the Dungeness image. Again, moves on to the Chipmunk image. Again, moves on to St Margaret's, and once again we get back to the first image, Here Lies Jack. And we can select the images in this way in any order we like, So we'll just hit the spacebar again, we'll select Dungeness first, and then we can key enter to bring up a large image. If we just want to look at it and go back to the thumbnails, we then hit enter again and it will return us to the thumbnails. But when we do this, we've got to use the spacebar again to select another image. So we'll select, hitting the spacebar now, chipmunk. Enter to bring it up, and we can now place it or score it in the normal way. Well, we're scoring here, so I'm going to give this one 18. So I'll do 1, 8 and enter. And you can now see that that image has gone. We've just got 3 images held back. So we can use the spacebar again, Dungeness, enter. Give that one 16, 1, 6, enter. Now we just got 2 images, spacebar again to select. Here lies Jack, enter, bring that one up large. I'll give that one 20, 2, 0, enter. And we just got the one left. For the spacebar to select it, enter to bring it up, give that one 19, 1, 9, enter. And we've got our post screen, and keying the spacebar will give us our results table. And that's the end of this tutorial.